Hello everyone, with me Ahmad Ahmadadi. In this video we will do a talk show by discussing environmental context, globalization, diversity and ethics. In this talk show we have very cool presenter. Let's just call our presenter Prinsiliya Safira Ananda Putri, Saif Rafi Ispahan and Sela Nadira Savitri. Okay, I'm going to read our what material is presented by our presenter. First, Safira Ananda Putri will discuss about globalization, reason for the emergence of diversity and developing in the multicultural organization will be discussed by Sela Nadira Savitri. Saif Rafi Ispahan will discuss about individual approaches to managing diversity and organizational approaches to managing diversity. Lastly, Prinsiliya will discuss about ethics. Before starting the talk show, I will first greeting our audience today. Hello Gino Rudi, hello Adinda Dwi Apriliadi, hello Wan Faiza Handari Sidik, hello Cynthia Angelica. Alright, let's start our talk show today. To Safira Ananda Putri, please deliver the material first. Time and place are yours.
Greetings all, let me introduce myself again. My name is Safira Ananda Putri. Here I want to explain about globalization in organizational behavior. Globalization in organizational behavior is a concept that refers to how globalization, namely the spread and integration of economy, technology, and culture and information around the world, affect the way individuals and organizations behave inside and outside the company. It involves understanding how organizations adapt, operate, and interact in an increasingly internationally connected business environment. Some important aspects in this context there are: first, globalization leadership. Organizations must develop global leadership that can understand and operate in different cultures, market, and legal environment around the world. Global leadership includes the ability of leaders to understand and manage different cultures, norms, and values in different countries. They must be able to adapt quickly and effectively in the context of international business. This could involve specialist training, the development of intercultural training, and the ability to think globally. Second is multiculturalism. Globalization presents a diverse culture, language, and individual background in the work environment. Organizations need to understand and manage this diversity to achieve efficiency and effectiveness. A diverse culture in an organization requires understanding and appreciation of difference. Organization needs to promote inclusivity and equality, as well as develop training programs that support intercultural awareness and the ability to collaborate. Third, global communication. In a global context, effective communication is the key. Organizations should develop communication strategies that enable cross-border collaboration and coordination. Effective communication across geographical and cultural boundaries is the key. Organizations need to use technology and communication tools that facilitate cross-regional collaboration. Fourth, organizational flexibility. Organizations need to adapt quickly to change in global market. This includes the ability to customize business structure, processes, and strategies. Organizations should be prepared to change their business structure, process, and strategies quickly when faced with changing global market conditions. This flexibility allows for the necessary adaptation to overcome new challenges and opportunities. 5. Global ethics. Organizations must consider the ethical and social impact of their business decisions and at the global level. This involves consideration of social and environmental responsibility. 6. Cultural and adjustment. Organizations need to understand local culture in which they operate. both in terms of business practice and social interaction. When operating abroad, organization needs to understanding and respect local culture. These include conduct in business, social manners, and norms that may differ from their home country. 7. Global legal system. Understanding differences in international and national legal system is important in global business decision making. Organization must understand the difference in international and national legal system in different countries. This is important to ensure that their business operations are in compliance with applicable regulation and laws at the same. Each of these aspects has an important role in helping organizations operate effectively in an increasingly connected global business environment. Wise management of this aspect can improve the performance and success of the organization in global context. With a strong understanding of how globalization affects individual and organizational behavior in business context, organization can optimize emerging opportunities in the global market while addressing challenges related to cultural diversity, communication, and the ever-changing business environment. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the Safiran and Putri. Give a big applause, guys. Okay, next for Selena and Nadira Savitri, the time and place are yours.
Okay, thank you for Ahmad. Hello guys. Hi, my name is Sela, and now I will explain about diversity in the workplace. Similar to globalization, diversity and social issues have had a dramatic effect on the study and application of management and organizational behavior. Now, organizations are beginning to realize and diversity is not just something to deal with, but instead a reality to build on to make a strong, more competitive enterprise. Diversity must be recognized and nurtured as the organization creates assets, and the ability to attract and work with diverse talent must be seen as critical competitive advantage. Diversity means much more than ethnicity, gender, or sexual orientation. Now, an evolving diverse population includes a full range of age, as well as career and geographic experience. As the head of the Hughes Society of Human Research Management, or SHRM Diversity Initiative, recently notes organizational diversity initiatives should not simply focus on getting people of color and women in the door, but embracing an inclusive culture to maintain these employees. Are you guys know what the 5 major reasons for increasing diversity?
No.
What is that?
Okay, the first is competitive pressure, and the second is rapidly growing increase in international business. The third is legislation and lawsuit, and the fourth is changing workforce demographics like age, gender, ethnicity, and education. And the last is the recognition and desire for diverse viewpoints. So that are the 5 major reasons for increasing diversity. Reason for the emergency of diversity: USA today calculate a diversity index based on population, racial, and ethnic probabilities that show now about 1 out of 2 people randomly selected in the United States are racially or ethnically different in 1980. In addition, the U.S. Department of Labor estimates that the majority of new workers entering the workforce will be women or minorities. At the more micro level, assuming talent and ability are equally distributed throughout the population and that everyone has an equal opportunity, there should be diversity in every level of an organization. Unfortunately, such an assumption is not yet valid because diversity has not to date noticeably reached to the top level of most organizations. Developing the multicultural organization. The foundation and point of the factor for creating and effectively managing diversity is the development of a truly multicultural organization. There have, for a multicultural organization has been described The first one is reflect the contribute and interest of diverse culture and social group in its missions, operations, and products or services. Second, act on a commitment to eradicate social oppression in all forms within the organization. Third, include the member of diverse culture and social group as full participant, especially its decisions that shape the organization. Last, follow through on broader external social responsibilities, including support of other institutional efforts to eliminate all forms of social imprisonment. Several stages have been identified in leading up to such multicultural organizations are exclusionary organization, club organization, complex organization, redefining organization, multicultural organization. The following section provides some individual and organizational approach that may help make managing diversity more effective. Okay guys, that's all for me. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you for Sarah for best presenting material. Okay, next for the Saif Rafi Isfahan, present your material.
Hello ladies and gentlemen. In this session I will tell about the individual approach to managing diversity and the organizational approach to managing diversity. Firstly, individual approach to managing diversity have the typically take two interdependent paths, is the learning and the empathy. Thus, with the low competence in the diversity domain, were unaware of their deficiency and therefore were not motivated to participate in diversity training, while those who are relatively competent express more interest in additional diversity training and the opportunity to attend the voluntary session. In other words, those who may not think that they need to learn about the diversity must work especially hard to learn and experience as the most they can about the develop appropriate behavior. In this way, managers can learn more about the diverse group, personal value, and how the individual likes to be treated. Managers can also begin to develop a personal style that works well with each member of the diverse group. In this learning process, manager can also encourage diverse employees to give them candid feedback regarding how they are being treated. Empathy is particularly important in managing the diversity because members of diverse group often feel that only they can truly understand the challenge or the problem they are facing. Empathy is an important way to deal with the more subtle problem because it helps the manager understand diverse employee point of view. By learning how to empathize with this feeling and by offering encouragement, guidance, and after the fact backup support, the manager can play the important individual role in the more effectively managing diversity. Organizational approach to managing diversity. Some of the most common involve the testing, training, mentoring, and program designed to help personnel effectively balance their work and family life. As the result, in recent years, a great deal of attention has been focused on developing tests that are indeed valid for the selecting and evaluating diverse employees. One way to make tests more valid for diverse employees is to use the job-specific test rather than general aptitude or the knowledge test. Job-specific tests have to prevent diversity bias by focusing on the work to be done. Besides, being culturally unbiased, tests are used in effectively managing diversity. So be able to identify whether the applicant has the necessary skill for doing the job test already given. As a result, all test questions have the same meaning regardless of the person surveyed, indicate that the majority of the US company have diversity training and have the move into the mainstream from the traditional role of merely equal employment opportunity compliance. A comprehensive research study has found the this firm has adopted diversity training, tended to be the following profile: large size, positive top management belief about the diversity, high strategic priority of diversity relative to other competing objectives. Fourth, the presence of the diversity manager, and last but not least, the assistance of the large number of other diversity supporting policies. Member from the diverse group can be trained for the entry level skill or how to more effectively do their existing or the future job. The other approach is to provide training manager and the other employee who work with the diverse employee. At the end of training, both manager and the employees realize that they have the better understanding of their personal bias and the ways in which they can improve the interaction with members of the other group. Another research has been found that the major key to the success of the diversity training is the top management support for the diversity. Also important are mandatory attendance for all managers, long-term evaluation of training results, managerial rewards for increasing diversity, and broadly inclusionary definition of the diversity in the organizational. However, it must be remembered that awareness training is valuable to shift perception, but may not lead to behavior change. All such and other firms learn that the training must be linked to the business outcome in order to produce actual behavior change. A major problem of the training in general and diversity training is particular in the transfer problem. More importantly, there was a strong positive relationship between the trained participant, diversity self-efficacy, and the number of difficulty of their state intention for initiating diversity goals in their specific environment. For insurance and manufacturing firms and a government agency. There are the purpose of the mentoring in the mentoring program in the training diversity is to help support members of a diverse group interview socialize in the cultural value of the organization and pragmatically help their chance for development and advancement. One problem is that mentor may be overly protective and engage to those their mentor into glass bubble by sending them into job with adequate pay and professional chance, but eliminate all chance of further advancement. The most common alternatively that can be do by the mentor is the work schedule adjustment, or the flex time, the compressed work week, job sharing, and telecommuting. But there are also the newer programs that help balance work and family. Recent U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics data indicate that over a quarter of working women with their children under 18 work flexible schedule. Prominent examples are about the 3 or 4 of the workforce of both Hewlett Packard and IBM use the flexible work arrangement. For example, parents who want to return to work on part-time based on the have-fun job sharing to be attractive employment alternative. Compared to a decade ago, an average working model increasingly indicates that part-time work over a full-time or not working at all will be ideal for them. Currently, about the third organizational allow employees to work from home or offset on the regular basis. For example, over the 9,000 Hewlett Packard employees work entirely from home. When the last number of women began entering the workforce a number of years ago, organizational work I will prepare for the resulting conflict that both women and men had between their work and family responsibility. Specifically for both men and women, for the family conflict has found to be linked to the job dissatisfaction, turnover, intention, and stress, while the family to work conflict result in stress and absenteeism. However, there are the additional research evidence indicating that multiple roles provide the benefit. For example, the practice multitasking relevant experience. For the managerial role at the work and those who are committed to multiple roles, for example, doing it all, may have the higher life satisfaction, self-esteem, and self-acceptance. Today, they are the program to help the solve of the reality of dual career, family, and work balance. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, the last for the friends Leah, please present your material. The time and place on you.
Hello everyone, my name is Francilia and today I will deliver the material about ethics and ethical behavior in organizations. Today, ethics in business, prompted by scandals like Enron, has grown vital. It's no longer just personal choices, it's influenced by culture, company policies, and our surroundings. Our sense of right and wrong is shaped by upbringing, education, and media. Inside companies, rules, role models, and rewards or punishments guide behavior. External factors like politics, laws, and the economy also influence ethics. This complexity affects issues like fair pay, workplace safety, product integrity, and discrimination. Understanding ethics can be confusing. Enron scandal, for instance, wasn't just bad leadership but also a booming economy, overconfidence, and external pressures. Innovating in business can blur ethical lines. Some think they are ethical personally but not at work, creating pressure to compromise. Plus, what's unethical to one may not be to another, as seen in software copying debates. Deciding right from wrong depends on the situation. Laws like Sarbanes-Oxley and corporate ethics codes address concerns, but more research is needed. In our globalized world, ethics matters in international business too. Researchers like Stajkovic and Luthans explore how cultures shape ethics, considering laws, company rules, personal values, and their interplay across cultures. The impact of ethics on bottom line outcomes. Aside from the moral considerations in how people behave at work, there is a growing body of evidence showing that having ethical programs and behaving ethically can actually benefit a company's finance. In the past, it wasn't always clear how being socially responsible as a business could directly affect the bottom line, and it often relied on stories and anecdotes. But recent research has given us clear proof that engaging in illegal or unethical actions has real financial costs, and this relationship has been statistically proven. For example, a study comparing big companies convicted of unethical behavior with those that weren't convicted during the same period found that the unethical ones had lower profits and sales. Moreover, there is strong evidence that a company's commitment to ethics, as seen in its actions like community involvement, treating employees well, product quality, diversity, and fostering an ethical culture, can add value to the business. Well-known companies like Ben & Jerry's, Johnson & Johnson, Levi Strauss, and Newman's Own are prime examples of how ethical principles can actually drive business success instead of hindering it. This growing body of evidence supporting the importance of ethical practices has led to the development of theories, research, and tools for measuring corporate social responsibility (CSR) or corporate social performance (CSP). While the exact definitions of CSR may differ, The core idea is that businesses should engage in sustainable practices that go beyond what the law requires to benefit their employees, communities, and the environment. In practice, companies are now creating roles like ethics officers and systems to keep an eye on ethical behavior. Organizations like the Springfield Remanufacturing Corporation are great examples of places that put trust, transparency, and respect at the center of their culture to promote ethics. At the same time, straightforward guidelines are being developed to help employees deal with situations where the right thing to do may not be immediately clear, so they can make honest and morally sound decisions. That's all from me. Thank you.
Magic presentation. Well, because we have heard all the material that has been delivered by our presenter, then we will enter the question and answer session. For those who want to ask, please to raise hand first and then mention their name. All those who wish to ask are welcome. Okay, please.
Thank you for the moderator and thank you for all the respected speakers. My name is Wan Faiza Andani and I wanna ask a question for our first speaker, Safira Ananda Putri. So my question is, how does globalization affect cultural diversity worldwide? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. Globalization can affect cultural diversity by spreading cultural elements from one place to another through mass media and communication. It can lead to cultural homogenization or encourage local culture to adapt to global elements, resulting in new cultural diversity.
Okay, I got it right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for Wan Faiza for the question. And another? Okay. Maybe Junior Rudy go first.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Junior Rudy and I want to ask Sela about what are the key factors and reasons for the emergence of diversity in the modern workplace.
Okay, Rudy, Sela can answer the question.
Okay, thank you, Junior, for the question. I will answer. The emergence of diversity in the modern workplace can be attributed to several key factors and reasons. Firstly, changing demography play a significant role as a more diverse workforce mirrors and increasingly multicultural societies in which business operate. Globalization has expanded market reach, necessitating diverse talent to connect with customers and navigate international market effectively. Legal and social shifts, such as anti-discrimination laws and increased awareness of equal opportunity, have promoted diversity as a moral and legal imperative. Moreover, research highlights the competitive advantage of diversity teams, which can lead to engaged problem solving, creativity, and innovative. Recognizing this benefit, organizations are effective seeking to attract, retain, and promote employees from a variety of backgrounds, fostering a workplace that embracing diversity as a source of strength and adaptability in the modern business landscape.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
Okay, thank you for the Junior Rudy. Maybe another one question. Okay. Adinda, you feel any?
Okay, Saif, what are some individual to effectively manage diversity in the workplace?
Okay, so for Saif, can answer the question.
Okay, I will answer it. The answer is the effectively managing diversity in the
Ya lagu siapa?
Silent lah.
Kali
Mau
saya.
absen nih.
coba.
Kepala mau absen
Udah.
ini ekonomi.
Cut.
Udah lah.
Oh, udah. Effectively managing diversity in the workplace demand a multifaceted approach on the ethical level. It begins with the cultivating cultural competence where individuals educated themselves about the different culture and customs. Active listening and open-minded listening play the pivotal roles in the understanding and respecting the diverse perspective, while the empathy fosters deeper connection among the colleagues. Self-awareness is paramount as the enable individual to recognize and address their bias. Conflict resolution and essential in handling disagreement constructively. Cross-cultural communication proficiency ensure the effective interaction while the mentorship rewarding and building deeper friendship broaden horizon. Continuously learning and the supporting inclusive policies contribute to a culture where the diversity is celebrated. Lastly, seeking the feedback and the self-reflection of the individual assess and enhance their effort in creating an inclusive and harmonious workplace that value diversity as the resource of the strength and innovation.
Okay, Merdita, this is enough or not?
Thank you, Sai.
Okay, please, do you still have question, guys?
Yes,
Okay,
I have a question. So,
please.
I want to ask for the last speaker, Francilia. So, in the context of globalization, what ethical dilemmas might organization face when it comes to issues like labor practice and environmental impact or supply chain management, and how can they address these challenges effectively? Thank you.
Okay, maybe directly to answer.
Okay, thank you for your questions. I will answer the questions now. So, in the context of globalization, organizations often grapple with several ethics dilemmas related to labor practices, environmental impact, and supply chain management. Regarding labor practices, multinational companies may face dilemmas concerning fair wage, working conditions, and employee rights in countries with different labor standards. To address this, organizations can establish and enforce a global code of conduct for their suppliers, conduct regular audits, and work collaboratively with local stakeholders to improve labor conditions. Concerning environmental impact, companies may encounter dilemmas related to resource depletion, pollution, and sustainability. They can address these challenges by setting environmental targets, adopting sustainable practices, and investing in eco-friendly technologies. In supply chain management, ethical dilemmas often arise from issues such as forced labor, child labor, or unethical sourcing. Organizations should conduct through due diligence on suppliers, insist on ethical sourcing practices, and promote transparency and accountability throughout the supply chain to mitigate these dilemmas effectively. Overall, a proactive approach that emphasizes responsible business practices, transparency, and collaboration with local stakeholders is essential in addressing these ethical challenges in a globalized context. That's my answer.
Okay, for the Cynthia, the question is enough or not?
It's so clear. So, thank you for Francilia.
Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, for this session, we will be closed because it's enough for the question and answer session. And next, I will give you the summary for this material. For this contract likely refer to the complex and interconnected ways in which their factor influence various aspects of society, business, and culture. Globalization promotes the exchange of ideas and goods across border, leading to increased diversity in communities and workplace. Ethical consideration become paramount as people from diverse backgrounds interact and ethical standards may diverse. Managing this dynamic is crucial in our increasingly interconnected world. Okay, that's all for our my summary, and that's all our talk show today. I'm Ahmad Madani. I choose myself. Thank you, guys. Okay, thank you for the all presenter. For presenter can exit this stage. Okay. Okay, thank you for your participant. That's all for our talk show, and thank you for you guys, and see you.